Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. This is a special one. In fact, this whole week is a special week. We are doing Craft Along, Christmas in July, Craft Along. I know that some of you are ready because you've been commenting before the video began, telling me that your PDF is in hand and that you are ready to start creating. We're going to create with a couple different bundles this whole entire week. We have 6 videos. Today through Saturday, I'll be live and I'm going to share 2 projects with each one of those videos. So altogether, we're making 12 different projects. Let me bring you down to the desktop. This is the Christmas in July PDF. It is how many pages long? Oh my gosh, I didn't even count. A lot. It's a lot. It's like over 30. I can't remember, but it's filled with all of the projects that my team and I have created for us to make this week. We're gonna have so much fun. And I did see a comment about the heat. It is hot. It's been a hot July. So if we can bring a little bit of Christmas atmosphere to the week, then it might cool us down a bit, right? So feel free to turn up the air conditioning just a little bit and grab some hot cocoa. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna make Jennifer's projects today. So Jennifer is first in the line, and then we'll just go in this order. My projects will be on Saturday. So if you're not familiar with how a craft along works, these 6 demonstrators created together, and we each created 2 different projects for a total of 12. And we're all doing videos. So today you will see all of us creating Jennifer's projects. You'll see Melissa sharing all of Jennifer's projects, Rhonda sharing all of Jennifer, like etc. Right? So you have to go to their channels. I'm going to show you a blog post in just a minute. If you come tomorrow, we're going to be doing Melissa's projects. If you come on Wednesday, we're going to be doing Rhonda's. Okay, and then we have Angie's, and then Erica's, and then mine. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna take this clip off. Let me bring you to that calendar right now, if that's okay. Let's do that next. I'm gonna show you how to access that. So you're gonna go to the description of my video. Let's go over there now. You're gonna go onto the description of my video, and there is a link, and it's gonna bring you to this calendar. You can also access that by going to my website at stampyourartout.com. You can scroll down, and you'll be able to see here a link to my channel, all the other channels. Let's see here, the official PDF if you'd like to purchase it and craft along with us. You'll also see the full post of information at the event. These are the links to all of the lives. So this post just got shared this morning on July 27th. I think there's a link to the calendar. Maybe it's just within the description of the video. I'm scrolling down. Here's a list of all the supplies you'll need to gather. You know what? I don't think I put a link to the calendar. Anyways, it's in the description of the video. So once you get to one of these videos here, then you can go to the description and you can click on it and join us. I'm going to bring you back to that calendar now. So this is the calendar of all my lives. I don't know the times that all the other gals are sharing, so you just have to go to their channels and find out. But mine is at 4 p.m. today, and then we have 4 p.m. most of the days, except for Wednesday we have 2 p.m. and then August 1st on Saturday we have 1 p.m. So just convert that to your time. If you're clicking on the Google Calendar, I believe it will actually convert to your time already. And I think I've shared all I needed to share there, so we're ready. Let's go back to the desktop. We're going to start with this card here. It's Jennifer's beautiful card with ornaments in it. And then we have a big project to do that requires it's a 3D project. So we're going to do that one next. And it looks like this. It's a little container, a little box. So what did people get if they signed up for this event? They all got the goodie bag with filled with little goodies inside. Here, hang on a minute. So they got a little goodie bag, and then they got a pack of consumable papers. So if they purchased the basic kit, they got this. If they purchased the full kit, they got that plus 2 bundles. They got the Pretty Poinsettia bundle, dies and stamps, and then they got the Festive Cheer bundle, dies and stamps. If you're interested in doing this next time, make sure that you're subscribed to my newsletters and my blog posts, because that's where I share the information for signups. Inside the goodie bag, you'll get a pair of socks, because that makes it fun. And then we have the Swiss Miss Cocoa and some candy, which my family ate, so I don't even have that in here anymore. And then you have new, not used like mine, but you should have a new roll of 2 rolls of ribbon. And then the embellishments, we're using the Moody Palette Glossy Dots, and we're using the adhesive back mini Christmas buttons. The ribbon is the real red and white stitched ribbon and the gold striped mesh ribbon. The socks varied in color, so you might have gotten a pink bag from me with pink socks, or I think green socks, maybe red socks, that's what it was. And then some of you got blue bags with blue socks or green socks. So fun, fun, fun. What's inside here? Well, let's take a peek at that really quick. I'm gonna move the cocoa off to the side because we're not gonna be crafting with that today, but you'll wanna save it because we are gonna craft with it on Melissa's projects tomorrow. Okay, inside the bag, you will have gotten your specialty papers, so your gold foil, your silver, your striped, shimmering striped paper, and then a couple half sheets of two-tone cardstock in Peaceful Pine and Misty Moonlight. Plus, you get a half pack of 2 different designer papers, so the stitched season one, and then this one is the gingham, the in color gingham paper. The backing doesn't tell you the name. Sorry, I don't even know why I did that. Inside here, you will have gotten, and I've already opened one here, so we'll just take and bring this over, your 24 sheets of cardstock, not pre-cut. We're going to do it together. And then we've got some embossed and die cut pieces so that you, as a person who purchased the full kit or the basic kit, you don't have to own all of those dies. Okay, I'm going to move these over. I'm going to bring my instructions back. Actually, I'm going to move this somewhere else because you know what? It's already in the way. We want to make sure that it is not in the way. Okay, we're going to start by creating Jennifer's card. Now, when you find your cardstock packet, for those of you that got this, I did put the basic white regular cardstock in the front, and I put the basic white thick in the back. So if you're looking at this in order, the thick stuff is on the back side because it's kind of like, you know, it's thick, so it holds everybody up. And then you'll see all the other colors in between. So you're gonna grab a sheet of that basic white thick cardstock, and I've already cut mine because we're gonna speed through the first card. The first card is a matter of like a lot of die cutting little pieces. And so if you don't already have those die cut ahead of time, that's okay. You can always watch the videos on replay and you can do it again. All right, I love this. You got the pink, Linda? Yay. Yeah, tell me what colors you guys got. I would love to know the sock colors too. So I've already cut my thick basic white in half at the 5.5 inch mark, okay, to get my base. I scored it at 4 1/4 inches, and that we're gonna bone fold here. That's gonna be the base of our cardstock. I always like to look at the edges. If you can see both pieces of cardstock from one side, that's gonna be the back. So this is the front of our card. Then we also need some die cut branches. So we're using die cut branches from the Festive Cheer bundle. So let me pull that in. So you're gonna take this one here and you're gonna die cut from the garden green cardstock to get 2 branches. And I do wanna tell you another tip too. If you're participating in the craft along, let me grab that back up here again. I'm gonna grab that blog post because in that blog post towards the bottom, let's just go there one more time. Towards the bottom, underneath my head, it lists all the paper, okay? It's listing all the paper. The thick basic white should be at the end, but all the other colors are in order of how they're packed for you from me. All right, so Peaceful Pine is the green underneath that first white. Let's see here, Garden Green will be towards, where's Garden Green? There it is. It's after the soft sea foam and it's before, well, yeah, it's like the last color of the colors, okay? In fact, here, I'll just take a peek and check. Yep, it's the last one. Okay. All right, let's go back to the desktop. And I'm gonna show you all the other things we did. So I die cut 2 of these, cut out 2 of those already. I cut out 3 of these gold strings here. We're gonna call them strings or strips or whatever. And that's done with this piece here. That will cut out like 5 different little strings for your ornaments. And then you need some ornament toppers. So I have 3 of those. And then we need some gold bows. So these are all from the gold foil cardstock. I've already cut out 2. For those of you that are new to die cutting, I am going to demonstrate die cutting the 3rd bow, but let me bring in the other 2. So we have those here. So the way dies work, I'm going to demonstrate that in just a second, okay? And then you also need some ornaments. And what I did is I just stacked my designer paper. So you're going to grab the designer paper that has this little look on the back side and this green on the front. And I just stacked some pieces that were, I think, 2 inches maybe. Let me measure. Just under 2 inches by 1.5. Stack them all together and cut them all at once because designer paper is thinner. So I have my 3 ornaments ready. If I can pick them up. Those are all ready. I have a couple birds ready. We're going to fussy cut one more. So we have a couple cardinals here. And then what I did is I just took a long 1-inch strip from that sheet of designer paper so that we could cut it as we go. Because sometimes when you cut a base of a cardstock, base for the cardstock, it could be like a 1/16 of an inch difference. So I prefer to make my strip, and then if you're going to cut it right to that edge, I'll show you. I'll demonstrate that. Okay. So nothing else is needed for this except some stamps, I believe. So let's finish up the die cutting. Bring this back over here. And we'll move this out of the way. Let's bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We have a mini and we have a big one. This is the Big Boss. So you're going to set up your machine, which comes with all these platforms, so you don't need to invest in separate pieces. They all come together. You're going to have base number 1. Oh, and you want to make sure that you bring these 2 edges out, or 2 sides down, okay? Then you've got your die adapter plate number 2, die plate. Then you've got plate number 3. I use my scratchy one on the bottom, and then I use my cleaner one on top. So there's 2 plates that are number 3. And then from our dies, you can see we have Noel, we have our branch. In the center of our branch, we have some ornaments that die cut like the stamped images from that set. We have a bow, we have an outline of a bow, the ornament topper outlines, ornament toppers that are detailed. I think this is berries, holes. I don't know what they're for. We're gonna grab the little bow. And we're going to set that on our gold scrap here. Just need a tiny little scrap of that. Oops, okay. It is on the, okay, and then we need our non-scratchy one. And sticky notes will help hold dies in place. So if you really want that to stay in place and it's moving on you too much, just take a little sticky note and hold it down. And then we'll crank, make sure everything's lined up as we crank inward. And we'll flip it over. And there you can see it cut all the way through. So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and poke out the little pieces here. And now we can just eject that from our die. And there is our gold bow. So pretty, so cute. Place that on here so we don't lose it. Okay, let's move this out of the way. And I think we have all the die cutting done. We just have to do a little more fussy cutting. So I'm going to bring in my paper snips or my detailed scissors. Hey, thanks, Beth. Hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that. We're going to cut out a few birds, but I've already cut out 2, so I'm just going to do 1 more. And when I fussy cut, I turn my paper more so than I turn my scissors. You can see how my left hand does more rotation than my right hand because I'm right-handed. I like to keep that one a little steady and move the paper. And because these cardinals are made up of geometric shapes, you can just do straight cuts on everything. No rounded cuts, you guys. So there's that. We need to zoom in and we're gonna start putting this together. Again, we're doing 2 projects, so forgive me that I'm kind of speeding through this first one, but the second one, I really wanna walk you through from start to finish. I wanna cut all the cardstock with you and all that. But a lot of you have made cards before, so you know how to cut a half a sheet of cardstock and fold it and do a lot of those other little things. So the first directions on this sheet say to remove the cap from the brush of my Stampin' Blends marker. We're using the Secret C Stampin' Blends. You could use the dark one or you could use the light one. It's up to you. Let's see here. I want to make sure. We're going to remove the cap and hold it over the project. And then we're going to tap the barrel against a bone folder. That's what I like to do too. So tapping it against the bone folder, you're not putting as much stress on your tip of your blends marker. So I'm just going to open this up. And you can see it's got a brush tip on one end and it has a bullet tip on the other end. We're going to use the brush tip because it holds a lot more ink. I have done this kind of brushing before where I take and I bring it into the cap and then kind of flick it out. But I like this, and I like that Jennifer suggested it too, that you just kind of like tap like this and it will make little speckles. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm reading this right. We're going to do it. Yep. Okay, here we go. And you can see tiny, tiny little speckles on the front of our card now. Can you see that? Okay, so we're just gonna let that dry. Don't touch it right away because it needs to dry. Put the cap back on. Again, you could use either the dark or the light because it's a fairly dark color. We just want some dark little speckles on there. We're gonna now adhere the 1-inch strip to the left edge of our card. So fold this, we'll use our bone folder. And I'm gonna go ahead and put some adhesive on the back side here. You can use glue, you can use seal adhesive. I'm not going to do the gluing yet, but I am gonna use glue. We have this cute little glue holder too from the Country Hive that I have to share with you. Okay, so we're just putting that really close to that folded edge. You can see how I made it flush with the top here, flush with the left edge. And now, if I was off by a 1/16 of an inch, that might show down there, but I didn't cut it yet. So we can flip this over and use that edge to help trim so that this is perfectly in line on all 3 edges. Okay, next, we're gonna save this because we need another part of that strip. We're going to stamp the Peaceful Pine sentiment. So we're going to take our Peaceful Pine ink, open that up, and our sentiment is, I forgot to look. She chose Holly Jolly Greetings, Deck the Halls, Holly Jolly Greetings. I kind of want to do Deck the Halls. It's going to change the card a bit, but you know what? As crafters, we do like to do that, don't we? A lot of us change the directions just slightly to make it what we want. There's ornaments on this, and I feel like decking the halls. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my stamp, let it relax, pick it up with my clear block. You'll notice, for those of you new to my channel, that I mount my stamps crooked on my blocks because I don't wanna look at the edges of my blocks for lining things up. In fact, I don't want them to be in the way at all. So I always line them up crooked. We're gonna open up our ink pad, our new magnetic ink pad. Yay. It is positioned with the ink pad on the cover. I think I'm going to put a Stampin' Pierce mat under here just to give me some nice cushioning. Well, ink, 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 ink. Check it out. Make sure it's all colored. And then she stamped that on the bottom left, right? Bottom left, yes. We'll stamp, oops, that down here like that. And then we'll close that up because we don't need that right now anymore. And we're going to start doing what next, Jennifer? Let's see, stamp Peaceful Pine, die cut 2 things. We already die cut everything. And we're going to adhere the Peaceful Pine branches to the top of the card. And then we're gonna start doing the ornaments. So let's just take a peek at this picture as we go here. You can see she did the ornaments, or the branches first. I'm gonna bring in one of my favorite ways to glue things. Now, if you're somebody who loves adhesive sheets, you may have wanted to put adhesive sheets on the back of these first before die cutting. I'm not somebody that ever thinks of that. Plus, I'm not an adhesive sheet person. I like to use my silicone mat, my silicone brush, and my Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, which is in this stinking cute little holder from the Country Hive, you guys. Look at that. It was made to go with this paper that we're using this week. It's so cute. I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze out some glue in the corner. You can't see it because my head is in the way. Hang on, there we go. And put this back in my holder. I'm going to flip this over. And let's see here, I'm gonna stick it right about there, I think. So I'm just pouncing to get the glue on the little dots of my silicone brush. Then I'm gonna lay it upside down on here where there is no glue and put a little bit of glue behind it. You don't have to do the whole thing, just enough, right? And then we'll flip it over and we will stick that down. And I think I'm gonna try to bring that one out pretty far to the edge. I think that's what Jennifer did too. So it's pretty far out from this paper, but it's still connecting to the paper. And then we'll take this next one. And you know what I like that she did is she put her ornaments underneath that branch. So we're gonna wait on this branch because she has the ornament strings underneath here. So we're gonna wait on that. Let's start building our ornaments. We're gonna take a couple ornaments and we'll put adhesive on the back side. And we're just gonna lay them where they look balanced. So we'll stick one right here. You know what, I better check my strings too. The strings need to be long enough. That will work. Okay, so we're gonna put one right about there, and then we'll put another one a little higher, right about here. It's the cutest card, you guys. I am in love with her card that she designed. This is so cute. Okay, then we can go ahead and do our, I'm just trying to move this out of the way here. We're gonna do our ornament toppers. Our ornament little topper thingies. So I'm gonna put a little bit of glue right there. Come on. Don't want it to squeeze out fully. Come out. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do this instead. We're just gonna tap it with our silicone brush. There we go, there's some glue on there. Okay, a tweezers might come in handy for something this tiny. Okay, then you can take and hold on to it while you're working. Put that ornament topper on, then grab the next one. Same thing, just gonna use my brush. Grab it, flip it over and stick it here. Oh my gosh, isn't this turning out cute, you guys? You don't like to use adhesive sheets either, Susan? Oh, my kind of person. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and turn these two over and just kind of put them close to each other and find a dry spot on our silicone sheet and just pounce a little bit of that on there. Okay, we'll take and stick these down, and you can put them wherever. Like you could even tuck them, like Jennifer says in the directions, you could tuck them within that hole that's in the topper part, but I'm just gonna connect on top. And I'm making sure that my strings are going vertical and parallel to the vertical edges of my card. I'm not sticking it down all the way because the top part has adhesive too, but just enough where it's gonna touch the branch here. And then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna trim. Where's my scissors? Here it is. This one feels, yeah, it's a little loose to me, but we are gonna put a bow there too, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna go ahead and trim that off so it looks like it's connecting with the top of that branch there. And we're gonna trim this one off. There we go. Okay, we have our strings going up to our branch. Again, this one probably could have had more glue. Let's go ahead and do it again. We don't want it coming apart on us. Okay. There, that works. And then we put the bows on, and I'm gonna do the bows with a glue dot, but I'm gonna use a glue dot from like a kit. Do you ever save these up from kits? They are thinner. They're a little bit thinner. So I'm gonna stick it on the back side here and peel off the backing. And then I'm gonna roll. If you have regular glue dots, this will work too. It'll just make the bow come out a little bit further because they're thicker. But this is a thinner kind of glue dot. And we're gonna stick that, where does she have that? Below? Okay, she has it right on here. So it's a good thing we glued that because it's not at the very top of the string like I thought it was. That's sticking there. And then we'll do this one, same thing. The bows are so adorable. They really are. All right, trying to read comments. I am alone today. I don't have Trisha with me. So if you have questions, you'll have to make them stand out. Okay, just kind of rolling that more towards the middle, sticking that down. And then we have our cute, cute, cute little birdies. So we're gonna put one bird. We'll take this one here, grab some dimensionals. Where did I put those? Oh, here they are. Grab some dimensionals. I am using up my edges. I have a lot of edges left. Put a little foam dimensional on the back side, and we're gonna set that bird on top of this ornament here. And then we'll use another one, another big one on the back side of this bird. Thank you, Lisa, you're so sweet. Lisa reminded people, if you can, give the thumbs up, share, like, subscribe, blah, 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 right? Yes, the tutorial is for sale. Thank you, Lisa, for answering that. If you go to the description of the video, there is a link for accessing the PDF. So you can buy it. It will come in your email inbox right away, and you can go ahead and keep crafting with us, okay? So there's that so far. We have also the branch to put on top. So let's do that next. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add dimensionals. If these are up on dimensionals, we might as well put a couple little mini dimensionals back here just for fun, because I want a little bit more distance. So let's do that. Put one here and one here. And then I think I'm gonna put another one. And if you have to, you can trim your dimensionals to make them fit, but I think they might fit. Oh my gosh, I made them fit. Peel off the backings. And, oh, maybe I didn't make them fit, because that one I'm seeing through there. Hang on, I'm gonna peel that one back away. We grab a skinnier one. Let's grab a skinnier one. That means we're gonna trim it. Okay, peel that up. Stick that on the back. Hopefully that won't show. That looks better. Okay, and then we'll set this down like this, so they're not really on top of each other, okay? They're kind of off and not the same. For your ribbon, I would put, how much? Let's see. Because if you want to do a bow, you'd probably want to have about, let's just kind of pretend we have a bow in there. So the bow amount would be 12, just under 2 feet. If you're gonna do just a knot, which is what I think I'm gonna do on this, then you would need less, of course. So about 12 plus another 6, 18, 15, 17, 18, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and trim off our excess and do a cute little knot. Make sure when you're tying, you have your ribbon flat on the back side or on the inside of the card. And I'm not sticking anything down here. I'm just using my hands to hold everything in place. My ring finger I've trained to hold the center of my ribbon, but if you have someone in the house that can hold that down for you, then you can go ahead and do your overhand knot without doing any adhesive. And then you can take and bend your cardstock just a little bit. See how I've curved it? And I'm gonna scoot my ribbon to where I want it to sit. And I want it to sit right there. And then I'm gonna grab another glue dot, and this time I'll just go ahead and bring these in. These are the regular glue dots. So I'll grab one of those. And I'm doing this all with my fingers today. Why am I doing that? We have the take your pick tool. That's really handy. And oh, and now I've lost it. Glue dot somewhere. Oh, it's on my thumb. Okay, there we go. Let's stick it under here. And then stick our ribbon down in place. Oh, you guys are laughing too because you've done it. We're gonna trim this. And that's the outside so far, except for the embellishments. We have embellishments to do still. I'm gonna go ahead and open the inside because Jennifer kept going. She did the inside of the card. We're gonna take this strip again and we're gonna add it with adhesive, going right down the right-hand interior section of the card right there. Okay, let's flip it over and do a trim. I'm telling you guys, I love this card so much. This is so cool. And then I love, love, love this too. What she did is she took, I'm gonna show you her finished one here. Well, the inside finished. See how she put the string of the ornament going right along that, right along this edge here? We're gonna do that. So I need a little bit more glue, it looks like. So let's go ahead and take and squeeze some more out. Tap, tap, tap. Find a dry spot. Tap, 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 tap. And let's take and just put that right on here. I'm gonna put a little off to the edge because then we can trim it and it'll be nice and straight for our cut along the top. Perfect. And then we'll build up our ornament here too. So we're gonna take this ornament and we'll just put that one straight down. And that's gonna connect here. Actually, you could put it wherever you want. You could put it even higher. I think hers is higher, so we'll stick it up here. As long as you don't go too high where your gold string coming down starts showing, right? So we'll go about 2 inches from the top. Then we'll take our little topper portion here, and we're gonna tap some more glue onto there, grab our, here it is, our tweezers, and stick that down here. Oh, and now it looks like the string is going through. See that? That's okay. That's what I think she did anyways. So we've got that on there, and now we'll glue our bow onto this with a little bit of glue dot from a kit. Press that against there, peel it up, fold it over, and stick it down. This time I think I'm gonna stick it further up. No, I want it down. I want the consistency. So there's that. Plus we have one more cardinal, and we're gonna stick that cardinal on the inside. Now she does have it on a dimensional. I'm gonna go ahead and do that too. Normally I say don't put dimensionals on the inside of your cards because it causes bulk, but I don't think this one is gonna affect it too much. It's not a lot of dimensionals, it's one little guy. Stick that there. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, let's do the embellishments. The embellishments are the Moody dots. Here they are, these guys here. And she used the green ones. Oh, I colored some. There are white, blue, green, and a dark blue. I believe this is, I think it's like a cloud cover color. And then this one is old olive. I don't know, I'd have to look it up. Somebody look it up for us and tell us the colors that are in the Moody dots. I can undo, can't stand the smell of Goo Gone. Oh, you guys are talking about if you mess up on something and you're using like an adhesive remover. Okay, I love it. You're helping each other out. Okay, let's go with some green embellishments. I'm gonna take the Take Your Pick tool. Where is it? It was here. We have a mess started already, you guys. Take Your Pick tool. I'm gonna move the tutorials over here. Here it is, found it. Okay, there's my Take Your Pick tool. Let's grab some of these and let's add them to the front. So we'll just kind of do, I don't know, she did 5. I don't know how many I'm gonna do. 1, 2, 3. I think I'm good with that. That's how many I'm gonna do. There's our finished first card. Isn't it so pretty? I love it, thank you, Jennifer. So fun. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, for the next one, we are gonna be using another die set. We're gonna be using the Beautifully Celebrated dies. And if you are someone who signed up for the class and you have a packet of supplies, you're gonna open that up and we're gonna find that die. Okay, it is the one that measures, because there's a couple from that die set. I think it's the smaller one. Let me check the measurements. Oh, licking my fingers. That's like an old person thing to do, isn't it? To lick their fingers. I never see any of my kids doing that. We're going to use the one that is 2 5/8 inches in diameter. So I believe this is the one. Yeah, that looks right. All right, so because diameter, I mean, it's not really, it's an oval. So, but I think this is the one that's going to fit the box. So we're going to set that aside. We also will need buttons for this. So I'm going to move the Moody dot embellishments out of the way. Bring in our buttons. We're going to need this ribbon. Here's our button embellishments. They're so cute. Do you guys see this? They have like a little shiny edge on them too. They're so fun. Let's take and tidy up what we had and bring in what we need. We're going to start with Peaceful Pine cardstock, and you're going to need a couple sheets of that. That is the next color down when you are looking at your stack of papers. So grab your Peaceful Pine cardstock. I'm going to move this aside and move that aside. Sorry, just continuing to tidy up here. Okay. Seal that back up. So Peaceful Pine cardstock. We want this next color here. So I'm going to bring that in front of us. We'll move this for now because we're going to need the trimmer. And we're going to start following those cutting directions. I'm going to zoom out just a bit because we are very close. That looks good. Maybe I'll have to bring it a little further out even. Okay, we are ready. We're going to grab her directions. So we're on the second project now. You can see that we're going to use that 2 bundles, both bundles for this that are part of this week. The Beautifully Celebrated dies, which I just introduced to you. Peaceful Pine cardstock, some basic white, some soft sea foam, which is a really pretty green. And that's going to be for the flower here. A Stitched Season designer paper. And then for inks, we're using Real Red Peaceful Pine, the shimmer brush in Peaceful Pine, and then the ribbon and the buttons. Okay, so let's get started on our 8.5 by 10 piece of cardstock. Let's grab one of these Peaceful Pines. 8.5 by 10. That means we have to trim off 1 inch from one end. So we'll go ahead and do that. 8.5, because it's 8.5 in this direction already. So we just need to take off 1 inch. Did Tracy ask a question? I missed a question because I see Susan saying, did she get an answer? Okay, so here's our 8.5 by 10. And on this one, we're going to score in on all 4 sides at 1 inch and 2 inch. Because it's easier for me to score at 1 inch on this side of my trimmer, because you can also see the 1 inch over here, I'm going to go ahead and do all my 1 inches first, and then I'll go ahead and do all my 2 inches, okay? All right, now I'm going to peek at questions or comments as I'm doing this. Do you like the card? I'm glad. I'm so glad. Okay. 1 inch, 1 inch. You want to make sure everything's parallel as you are scoring. Lisa said, thanks for making us who lick our fingers feel old. I don't know. I just never see my kids do it. I feel like it's something that, you know, us older people do. Okay, now 2 inches. We're going to go around and do 2 inches. So now I'm using this side of my trimmer because it's going to be easier to hold on to my cardstock this way. And plus we don't have 2 inches over here. So we're giving that score line all the way around on all 4 sides. 2 inches, 2 inches. And another side here, 2 inches. Okay, so now that we have all those score lines in there, I'm just going to kind of fold them upwards just so you can see where those score lines sit. We're going to be making a box interior in our little holder here. And this is the part that's going to be the interior. That interior, by the way, measures 4.5 by 6, which means this is perfect for holding cards. It's a card holder box, yay! So you could make a bunch of these and give them as gifts with some handmade cards in them. Perfect Christmas gift, right? Okay, so she says in her directions that we're going to cut out the areas where there's X's in, And those areas, let me just grab my paper snips, are going to include this section, and this section. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut like this and cut like this so you can see where that section is. See that? Okay, so you're gonna do that on all the sides. Fold and burnish on all score lines and trim away the 3 outer corners. And then follow the diagram below, create the bottom box. So we also need to trim inward. So as you're cutting, I want you to go further in on 2 of these cuts. So this one and this one. We're gonna do that on the top and bottom. Now, if you pick the top and bottom, stick with that on this side too. This is what I consider the top of the box, top and bottom of the box, right? If you're gonna do sides, then you go all the way to this point in this cut, and you don't up here. But just choose one or the other and then do the opposite side that same way. So let's go ahead and just cut inward and inward. Okay, now that we have those cuts in there, you can just do the rest of the omission part. So we're gonna omit all these 3 squares. So the outer square, and the 2 squares next to it. See how we did 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the PDF shows you a really nice diagram of that. So let me just bring that in here so you can see that. See what she did? So we're still continuing to cut. And it says create the bottom of the box and secure all sides with liquid glue. Glue is one of the strongest of our adhesives, so we will make sure that we use glue. Okay, and I love this kind of a box. So here's the thing I want you to do too. To make these little tabs a little bit more workable, I want you to take and kind of miter or angle cut from about 1/8 of an inch in. See how that's angled now? So it allows you to get this to go over the top without having too many issues. In fact, let's go ahead and do that here too. Let's take all of these tabs that are kind of like singular tabs, and we'll go ahead and miter or angle cut them. That will allow our box to come together a lot easier without any stiffness. Do that one, and I think I have one more cut to do. Okay. Let's take a peek at that on white paper so you can check it out there. That's what it should look like. These are angle cut little tabs. Okay, now let's go ahead and use our bone folder like she said to crease everything. Let me find it. We'll go along all these creases here, every single one of them. Okay, us unique folks done a lot of things that are strange to do now. Yeah, and there was something else that my kids and I were talking about the other day that they said only like older people do that, Mom. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like something that just seems so normal to me. But yeah, I guess I'm old. Okay, bringing these in, and we're going to, I want to show you how this comes together. See how these tabs here are in here? Those are going to be covered first. We're going to cover them by bringing that cardstock over the top. See that? It's going to cover it. So let's go ahead and put some adhesive on these tabs right here. And it doesn't have to be a strong adhesive, so oops, I'm just going to go, I can leave that there. I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of seal here just to hold it in place. Because once it's in place, then the rest of the gluing is going to be easy. So we're just going to take and fold that in. See how I'm bringing this edge to that fold? Same thing over here. Same thing over here. And same thing over here. And now, these little guys, these extra sections here, you don't have to fold them out, but only to put the adhesive on. They're going to fold inward, but we're going to put glue along them. And I recommend putting your glue nice and thin and as close to the outer edges as possible, for sure, because that's going to be the part that would peel up faster. So you want to do all of those outer edges for sure. You can do the inner edge too. I mean, if you want to go across the whole thing, you certainly can. but that's the area for sure that you want to get, is that outer edge. And I'm getting glue on my hands, because I use seal usually, you guys. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more here because this looks like it's drying already. And we'll fold the two side ones in first and secure them. And then we'll fold these other ones in. Hang on. They're not staying in. Because I'm impatient. Did you lose something, Beth? Or are you just sharing Susan's little phrase that she uses in her videos? My upline Susan always says, found it. I miss things too. Every one of us, we have that issue, right? It's not just Susan, it's all of us. Okay, and then we're gonna press that in. Did you take a drink? Now we're pressing that one in, and we're gonna press this one in. And if you go slowly on this, your glue is gonna eventually dry, so make sure that you are either going quickly to adhere your sides together, or just glue one side at a time, okay? Watching from Sydney. Hi, Vicky. I'm glad that you could join us from Sydney, Australia. That's awesome. Got a little glue in there. Okay, and then check this out. So awesome. Cards and envelopes will fit in there. Okay, I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna bring my bone folder in here, and I'm just gonna square off all those corners. So I'm just kind of like pressing inward to make sure that everything is nice and squared off and crisp, okay? There is our interior of our box. We used practically a whole sheet for that. The only part we didn't use was this and all these little squares that we cut off. Let's move those aside. Let's go to the next paper that's on the PDF. We're gonna measure and cut a 6.5 inch wide piece, 6.5 by 11. So 6.5 is outside of this edge, which means you, again, have to bring the arm of your trimmer out if you're using the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. And we're going to go to the 6.5 inch here. This is 11 inches in this direction from here to here. So now we have a 6.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. We're going to score that at 5 inches and at 6 inches. 5 inches. And at 6 inches. Okay. And now you can see this is going to become the cover that's going to wrap around our container. Isn't that fun how it's coming together? Linda loves it. Yay. And isn't it great? Yes, the option to put the cards in it is amazing. Linda's using Stampin' Seal. Okay, go for it. It's quicker with the glue once you get to that step, but you could, before you put your little tabs in when you're creating this portion of the box, you could put adhesive everywhere where it needs to go using Stampin' Seal, because then you have everything lying flat, and then you can bring it in, okay? All right, next. Oh, we also need, let's just go ahead and cut a couple other pieces that we're gonna need. We're gonna need a 2 by 6 inch piece that is scored. This is 2 inches already. So we're gonna cut that, and it's gonna get scored at 3 and at 4. 3 and 4. And then we need 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So we do have a few options for that still left. I'm gonna use my smaller of the two here, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So we're gonna cut it at 4 1/4. And then we're gonna rotate it. And you could use a Post-it note. Have you guys done this before, where you take a sticky note? I'll just grab one. Rachel's die cutting holder and placer. Thank you, Susan. Okay, so I've got a little sticky note on here. I'm gonna lay that in place where I want it to be. And my sticky note's gonna hold it still. And then I can cut, and I've got my strip. This strip here is not going to get scored. Floral centers. We need to do some die cutting. For the die cutting, let me check one more thing out here. I hope you're okay with me walking you through the whole entire box, you guys. For the die cutting, we're gonna grab this piece because we need 2 floral centers from it. So that's gonna be the scrap we use. I am going to toss aside these little pieces. I'm gonna save this back in my packet just in case we need a smaller green. So that's gonna go back in my packet for now. Okay, and let's put the glue back upside down. It's kind of getting glue everywhere. We need soft seafoam cardstock. We need basic white. We already have our basic white die cut oval. That's here. But we need more basic white. We're gonna do a large stem and a stem and leaf die cut with that. And then with our, and I'm gonna grab it from my drawers because I wanna keep my paper pack together so that you guys can see each time you come to the video a full pack. So I'm just grabbing some scraps in here if that's okay with you. Let's go ahead and take these. Basic white. All right, this one might do it. Let's grab our dies. So we're grabbing dies from the Pretty Poinsettia bundle this time. So let's take and put these aside. We'll put them there. Okay. Do you see the special illustration on the front of the cover here? That means that they work with the Impressions mat. We're gonna be putting some dimension into our die cut images. Will this cut from here? It will. Yay. So that's going to be our leaf from the white cardstock. And then we need dies from our green. And I think we can get all 4 from this sheet. Yes, we can. There's that. And then we need our center for our poinsettia flower. Okay, so let's get some die cutting done next. Bring our machine back over. And we're gonna need our impressions plate. Here we go. Okay, starting on this side. 1, 2, 3, they should be in order. 1, 2, 3, scratchy plate down. I think I'm gonna do 2 of these at a time because we're gonna flip this over. Let me get a bigger scissors here. We're gonna flip this over and do impression, the impression plate with it too. So let's go ahead and do just these for now. Okay, I've got the centers of my poinsettia and I've got 2 layers of the petals. We'll put our other mat on top. And this is where I forget the sandwich for the impressions plate. Remember, what day was that, you guys? Was that Friday? What day did I go live? I'm gonna go there and just look because I messed up. But it still worked. I mean, yeah. Impressions. Rachel's looking it up. There it is. Liz might be watching with me right now. Oh, I can't find it. All right, so it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna do what I did last time, I think, if I can recall. I should write myself a little note, but you see how it's cut out, the outline's cut out, but there's no embossing yet? We're gonna do some embossing. This one here, that's ready to go. I'm gonna stick that aside. Okay, so this is gonna go against my impressions plate. If I can get the static to come off. It's still within the dies. If you can keep it within the dies, that's best. Then we'll put a plate on top. And I believe, do we use one of these? I couldn't remember if we used one of those or not. Let's try it. It's not the die plate, you guys. It's the other cutting mat. We need one more cutting mat. We've got a cutting mat, we have the impressions plate, we have the paper with the die in it, and we have another cutting mat on top. That's the sandwich. Make it go through. You're gonna love it. Let's check it out. Now, can you see there's some embossing in there? We'll do that again. I'm just gonna go ahead and put these over here though. I'm not gonna reveal them completely yet because it's gonna be so much fun when they're all done. Here we go, let's do the next one. So we need the die plate number 2. We need scratchy plate number 3. And let's set this up. We've got our leaf die that's gonna go on our white. We have these 2 here. Let's turn this way. We have these 2. which are going to go on there. Okay, here we go. So much fun. It's a late night show for you, Jackie. Yeah, we all want to know what time it is there. 23:53, so that's almost midnight. Wowza. Okay, so we've got them cut. Now we're going to take and get rid of this plate. Put this one back. We can put a cutting, oh, it shifted. It shifted on me. We can put a cutting mat down. It doesn't matter which one you put down, by the way. Then we want the impressions plate. If you want to, you can spritz your paper with alcohol or water, but don't put a ton on because you don't want to saturate it. Keep these together as much as you can. We're going to put those back on there. And keep that one together. Put that back on there. And put another cutting mat on top. Okay, let's make sure that everything's staying within. Oh, I think that one shifted on me. Did it? I hope not. See, when they come out of the, when the die comes out of the paper, sometimes it shifts and then you get this really weird look. I hope it didn't shift too much if it did at all. Oh, it worked out just fine. Yay. Okay, so let's check out all of our beautiful embossed and die cut pieces. Here's the first one. Gorgeousness, right? It's not just cut out, it actually has texture and pizzazz. Let's move this to the back table again. My back table is a mess because I just did a sneak peek kind of show and share, and I think that was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. And it was so much fun, but I have to tell you, I still have to find places for everything, and I haven't. So it's kind of a mess back here on my table behind me. Sorry about that. There's our beautiful leaves. We have 4 layers of petals for our flowers. And you can stack them however you want. 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one I already cut out, or already came away from the die. So there's that. And then we have these little guys. And these are the centers that kind of get layered. They coming out of there. Sometimes if you throw your dies, they come out. There's one. And there's the other one's being stubborn. Tweezers. There we go. All right, so let's not lose these. I'll just set them on the table. If we need them, they're back there. Okay, next. I'm gonna turn my sheet. Oh, we have to cut some designer paper. Forgot about the designer paper. The designer paper comes next, and then we can start assembling. We have to stamp too. So let's grab our trimmer one more time, and we're gonna cut some designer paper. This time, we are using Stitch Season, but the back side, and I think she used the one that is kind of like, it's red, but it's not the candy cane one. It is the kind of like little X's or something on there. So let's take a peek at all our choices here. We have candy canes. We have the green. We have the holly. This is the one she used. There's snowflakes. And then we have this one here. I'm gonna go ahead and use the same one she used because it looks great. And we're gonna cut out a few pieces. Those pieces are, actually I think she only cut out one. She cut out one? It's gonna be 6 by 10.5. It's one big piece, okay? One big piece that is 6 by 10.5. And then I think we have it all and we can start stamping and sticking it together. 6 by 10.5. Okay, so there's 6 inches. And then the other direction, we have to bring the arm out. And we're gonna go up to the 10.5. And trim. Don't throw away these pieces. We might use them later, I don't know. So there's that piece. Okay. Adhere it to the 6.5 by 11 inch scored Peaceful Pine cardstock, adhering one section at a time and folding gently the DSP along the score lines as you go. That makes sense. So this is gonna stay adhered And so what's going to happen is when you do this wrap around the box, you might have some buckling, some pulling in these areas. So what she suggests, and you can do it this way, but I might do something a little bit different to avoid that. She suggests gluing this down here into this section and then folding this, right? Then folding this, then gluing here, folding the paper, and then gluing that, and then one more time, folding and gluing. So fold as you go, and that will prevent a lot of that buckling issue. If you want your piece to be able to open a little bit more freely without the buckling, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to deviate from her instructions. Sorry about that, Jennifer. They're great instructions if you want that wrap look all the way around, just so you know. But I'm going to go ahead and measure. It's going to be 4 3/4 inches from both sides, I think. Yep. And then in the middle, there's an inch. I'm being a rebel. Sorry, 4 3/4 inches. And I'm going to go back 1/16 of an inch. Do you see that? So when I'm putting this on here, I'm at the 4 3/4. I'm going to go back 1/16 of an inch just so that it makes room for that fold there. And I'm going to trim. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do 1 inch, but I'm going to go back 1/16 of an inch and trim. And then I'm going to do one more that's at the 4 3/16 or 4 3/4 and come back 1/16 of an inch. So altogether, I'm trimming off just a little bit, and this part would have been buckling, but we're not going to let it buckle. Okay. I'm going to put that back together just in case it's a bigger pattern, and we are going to adhere that onto this. Because I am adhering onto, ooh, that's really big. Because I'm adhering onto flat pieces, I don't have to worry about glue, right? There's not going to be that buckling effect, so I can go ahead and use my seal adhesive. I'm going to go as close as possible to those edges, like that. And how did this come together? See, I already messed up. It goes that way. So this one I'm going to stick here, just a little shy of that score line, and stick that down. So you have just a tiny bit of green exposed there. Now the next one. And that's going to go here. You can see it fits together, but I'm going to make it separated. Here, let's do this. Let's fold that over so we can see the edge. Green and red together are making my eyes a little bit wonky. How about you guys? They vibrate. They're opposite colors on the color wheel, so they vibrate against each other and they make themselves brighter. It becomes brighter, more intense. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing on this last piece. All right, let's check this out. Does it fit here? Nope, it fits here. Yeah, okay, so because I'm right-handed, it might be easier to do it over here. And there is that. So there's that. Okay, we have our little booklet part here. Adhere the 2-inch end of the arm to the center right panel, the 2-inch end of the arm to the center right of the inside cover, right here. This is what I'm guessing. We're gonna put that right there. So this time I'm going to use glue because I don't want any pulling. I don't want it to come out of there. Hang on. Need a little bit of a tissue here to clean off the end. And if you adhere it on the inside, it looks cleaner. If you put it on the outside, like if I were going to do this, then you'd notice it and it wouldn't look good. So we're going to put it right here in the center. There we go. And it's already sticking, like it's not moving at all. Barbara says, use 1, 2 impressions and 4. Oh, the 4 plate. Yes, you could do that. So here you go. Let's do this quick lesson. That's what someone else was sharing with me. Was it Liz that was telling you this? Because some of you are like, wait, why did she use 2 cutting plates? Okay, there is a 4th plate. Let's go back to the impressions for just a minute. When you're doing the sandwich, I did the impressions between these two. Those two equal the thickness of these two. So in the directions, it might say to do 1 and then 2, then your paper and die with the impressions plate, and then 4 on top. Either way, if you have either these two or these two, it's going to work. Does that make sense? Thank you for bringing that up, Barbara. How many cards and envelopes fit into the box? That is a great question, Yolanda. It would depend on how thick your cards are. So that's hard to say because some people use a lot of dimensionals and embellishments, but it's 1 inch high. It's going to be 1 inch high. So whatever fits into 1 inch. Okay. I hope I didn't miss any other questions. If you have them, let me know as we go here. Now we're going to adhere the box over the arm, there like that, on the inside of the designer paper covered base, positioning it close to the left score line with even borders on the remaining 3 sides. So you see that? Close to the left score line with even borders. Okay, so we're gonna stick that down. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna do it with glue because we don't want this to move on us. You could even write your name. We'll put it back in our cute little cardinal glue holder that matches our paper. Gotta love it. Country Hive, you're so awesome. Okay, I'm gonna stick this down. And it goes close to the left edge. It doesn't have to be all the way there, but it's closer. And then it's even on the other 3 sides. So there is a slight gap over here. If you'll notice, there's a slight gap, and that's okay. Okay, so that's how it looks. And this is gonna go over like this. We did all the die cutting. We're gonna adhere the leaf and the stem to the front of the box. We're gonna assemble the poinsettia and attach it to the box with dimensionals. Okay, now I think we just start putting it together. So I'm gonna look at her front cover again, and I'm just gonna start doing this. Okay, so this little guy here, this flap, is gonna go underneath a little strip. So there's this strip here that she has on her box that helps to hold it closed. You see that? It's gonna go like that. So I think I'm gonna stick that down first because then I can work with positioning my flower where I want it to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this down with, let's just do some glue. How's that sound? And I have it about a 1/2 inch from the end of that. So I'm gonna do a little bit of glue there, a little bit of glue there. And as long as you have the top and the bottom, I think that's all you need. So now we have that, and I'm just gonna hold it in place. And that's holding it shut really well, right? But we don't wanna have it too close. If you bring it over here more, then you really have to work with bending this thing, you know, to slide it out even more. Right now, you can see, you kind of have to bend it a little bit. That's gonna be perfect. Okay, and the top and the bottom of that each get a little button. I'm so excited about this. I'm gonna do a red button. She has white ones on hers. I'm gonna do red. Because I'm a demonstrator, because I'm a crafter, because we like to challenge ourselves and go in a different direction sometimes. So I'm gonna put a button here. And I'm gonna do a button here. You know what, I'm just gonna peel this up and then arch this. Get my fingernail under there. Cutesy! Oh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Let's stamp on this. Let's stamp on that with our message. She has "'Tis the Season" on hers. So let's pull our stamps out. "'Tis the Season." Yep, this is the one that it works with. So "'Tis the Season," plus she has a couple little asterisks from the other stamp set. I wonder if "Christmas Joy" works on there. "Christmas Joy" works on there too. "Merry and Bright" It works. It's a little big. I'm gonna do Christmas Joy. No, I wanna do 'Tis the Season. I'm gonna do 'Tis the Season also. I'm taking and doing the same thing. 'Tis the Season. Get my stamp, my block, and we're gonna ink that up in real red ink. And then she also has these cute little asterisks or star looking images, and those come from the other stamp set, which is the Festive Cheer. So when we stamp this down, she has it off to the left a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead. Do I want to put it off to the left? I'm thinking and it's drying. Hang on. Yeah, I'll do it off to the left or right a little bit. Okay, so there's that. And then, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna grab my Wink of Stella. You don't have to do this, but I'm just gonna take my Wink of Stella and I'm gonna pull in some color from the edges and give that a little bit of shimmer. Rachel's going rogue. Sorry, I just have to do this. I have to fill in those little spots. See how that's coloring using just the edges here? Oops, went outside the line. That's because I don't have my reading glasses on. This looks so fun, and it makes it look more like candy words. What do you think? Got a little bit of shimmer in there. 'Tis the season. Yay. Okay, we'll let that dry. Actually, we have to stamp one more thing. We're gonna stamp with our Peaceful Pine, and we're gonna stamp our little asterisks. And those are from the other stamp set. These little guys here. Let's pick those up and stamp those down right about, I think I'm gonna do it this way, like that. So there's that, yay. Okay, we'll move these aside. We're gonna assemble our flower. Now, as we're doing this, we're coming to a close on day one of our craft along. I want you to know, I'm gonna do this with glue dots, by the way. I want you to know that, again, we are doing this the whole week. If you're watching the afterlive, please comment and say hello. Tell us that you were here. And then join us for the live if you can by checking out the calendar. I have a calendar in the description of the video that you can click on, and you can see when all the lives are going to be coming up this week. If you can't join us live, you can always watch the replay. Again, this is our Christmas in July craft along. And you know what? If you want to, you could take and kind of curl up these individual petals. See how I'm doing that? You could do that with just your fingers. I wouldn't do it with the bone folder because we already have some embossing on this, but if you just kind of like pull with your fingers, you can get those petals to look a little bit more realistic. See that? And now we have like, oops, now we have a little bit more dimension to them. I'm gonna grab this one, and then we're gonna use glue. I'm gonna roll this one in a little bit, but we're gonna use glue on the last, because the last ones, even though they will cover this glue dot, between the two of them, they will not cover a glue dot because they're very, very tiny. So let's just do a little dot of glue here and bring in the Take Your Pick tool. Here it is. And we'll set this right down in the middle there. And then we'll do a little more drop of glue here. Come on, just a tiny bit, that's all we need. And we're gonna lift this one up and make it go the opposite direction. Okay, that's that for our leaves. Same thing. I'm just going to do it with my hands. We're going to stick that on here. And we don't want it to attach to this because this has to be movable. So we're going to go back a little bit. Let's see here. Maybe I'll have it come. Maybe I'll have it at the top of my box. And my sentiment can go down here. Now the sentiment is not going to attach to the flap, I don't think. Does she? Well, we'll have to find out. Let's stick this down with some glue. We'll just put a bunch of glue back here. Could use dimensionals. I'm not sure what her directions say at this point because I am going by sight. I'm just going by the front picture and I'm trying to duplicate in a speedy way because we are running out of time. I'm gonna make these leaves go around this button. And we'll put a little bit of glue under those. Make it wrap around a little bit like that. That looks cute, right? Let's see how she explains to do the flap. Okay, this goes with the flap. So we're gonna tuck that in and then we're gonna attach this flap with these words. So to do that, I'm just gonna make sure that I only put dimensionals on this spot. Let me grab my dimensionals, if I can find them. I'm gonna grab another sheet because I've lost them. Hang on. Adhesive. Adhesive. Here we go. I knew I was running out of dimensionals yesterday and I should have replenished them then, but okay. So we're gonna stick a couple here. 1, 2, and I'm gonna put one up here. 3, kind of like a little tripod. Oh, that's so cute, you guys. We'll peel these off. And that's all the further they can go in, so they're not gonna get in the way. And then we'll just tuck and adhere. And now you can see you can open it up, put your cards inside, slip that back. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. It's so cute. So there we go. We did a really pretty card. It involves some die cutting and a little bit of fussy cutting, but if you have some special people at Christmas time that you want to give these cards to, you certainly could make a few of them. I love this card so much. The design is just gorgeous. There's the inside again. Here's the outside. And then we have a gift card box, right? Like a box for gifting cards. So you could totally put a few cards in here with envelopes and give the gift of created cards to your loved ones. Thank you so much, Jennifer. These were adorable. All right, so what news do I have to share with you? Questions. At this point, this is where I want to say, shout out your questions because the live is ending soon. And if you had questions along the way, I want to make sure I answer them before the live is done. Again, we're going to be creating 2 projects each day, Monday through Saturday of this week, July 27th through August 1st. This is our Christmas and July craft along using the Pretty Poinsettia bundle and the Festive Cheer bundle and coordinating products. I'm peeking. Oh, thank you. Love all of your comments here that are so kind and sweet. Pretty box and card. Don't forget to give the thumbs up. Enjoy watching these 2 creations. Looking forward to watching additional videos. Thank you, Nancy Keebler. Are those weights I'm hearing? Weights. You know what? There is some noise that's upstairs. We have people upstairs hanging out and getting food. So maybe that's what you're hearing. Hello from Sarasota, Florida. Love both projects. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'll just keep waiting to see if there's any other questions. And as we do this, I want to mention that if you do decide to order, there are links when you go to the blog post. They're not in each video like I normally do because Each video, we're using different products. And so if you go back to the blog post that's connected to the video description, you'll be able to see a visual list at the very bottom and then a written list in the body of the blog post. Go to the visual area and you can click on and order any of those products. If you decide to order $50 worth of product, you get the Moonlit Flora All-Star Video Class tutorial that gets emailed to you as part of your thank you with a $50 order, plus you earn a loyalty reward point. I'm checking to see, are there other questions here? Love the inside the box, think it will make some for birthday cards instead. Yes, you could totally do that, Yolanda. You can alter the box, do it with different decorations on it, and gift it at any time of year, right? You caught the last 10 minutes. Hi, how are you? Is that Debbie that's chiming in? Caught the last 10 minutes. I'll be sure to watch the replay. Yes. How many of you had like cocoa or you were wearing some Christmassy clothes while you're doing this? I wore some of my favorite jewelry for Christmassy stuff to make me more in the Christmas spirit. Wasn't that fun, you guys? This was so fun. Oh, one more thing with the All-Star Video Class bundles. We are in our last, or our first month of the 6-month span. There is a special. So if you're a fellow demonstrator or you're somebody that orders from someone else and you do not want to purchase from me to earn the tutorials for free, you can get in on the subscription program. Visit that same blog post and scroll to the very bottom, which talks about the July All-Star Tutorial Bundle. And when you click on it, it'll take you to a page where it talks about the subscription, and you can save. You can save by purchasing 6 months at once. I'm not seeing any questions, so I think we're good to go. All right. I do have more paper pumpkin ideas to share with you, but this week is all filled with Christmas in July. So I'll be sharing those ideas with you. I'll just hold up my stack. I'll be sharing those ideas with you coming up soon, probably next week, Wednesday. That's my guess. I've got a bunch here, you guys. And I also have put together, remember the card candy that I shared on Friday? I have all of those cards assembled now and ready to share with you too. So towards the end of the week, I'll have a couple blog posts where I show images of all of those cards fully assembled. No more questions. This is great. I must have explained things so well. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks a lot, and we will see you tomorrow around the same time. All right, hugs to you all. And now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.